And we're live.
Forgot how long 30 seconds is. Huh?
It's the longest. So how's it going? Getting any? I saw some. You're doing some card stuff on. It was Instagram, yeah.
I go through cycles. It's just like, I don't know. I forget why. Like I cleaned up all the stuff on my desk, right, to organize because it was just a fun disaster. And I'm like doing that. You're like, I don't really feel like getting the paints out. So then it's like, okay, let's push some pixels around because I'm.
No, nice.
Yeah, I've been playing a lot of in-hand solo card games. So it's like everything is kind of held in one hand, and you either turn cards sideways, or some are better designed than others, right? Because designing them, you're like, okay, cool, and then you're like, I can't hold this, right?
right.
So it's either like you either turn them sideways. I figured like two orientations max. You don't want a deck held this way and then cards flip this way and cards flip this way. It gets kind of unmanageable. Or you're manipulating like two small sets of cards. Like that's the idea, right?
That's cool.
Doing stuff like that. I like it's kind of the process of creation. I like the logistics of figuring out, okay, how much information can we do, and how do we organize it if you flip cards sideways to reveal certain things or slide them down to reveal others, right? Yeah, so
cool.
that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, there was a guy that it was a few years back. I think he was the inspiration for them doing that miniaturized Gloomhaven, but he did, I think, a modified version of Gloomhaven with like a few cards. Like
I have a game by him. I think it's by him called Behold Rome, and it's 18 cards, and it's a civilization building game, and it's the same thing, right? Like you turn cards sideways to store them, and then you can like spend them by turning them up, or you have others like sets of cards in your hand that you can take the action from. I can't actually play that game.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Well, I might be understanding something wrong, where it always seems like, okay, out of these 18 cards, you draw 5, and then those are the cards you can play for actions. I never seem to have the things that give me the resource to take the actions. It's like spend X to do a thing, and I'm looking like I don't have any X to spend. I think there's like, unless I'm playing wrong, it seems like there's 2 or 3 cards from the whole 18 card pack that you can spend stuff. So I'm like, am I misreading things here, or do I have to have one of these cards in my hand to kind of be able to do anything the first couple rounds? So I'm getting a little bit frustrated with that. But yeah, like there is so much information on those cards, and it's almost overwhelming. And sorry that the rule book isn't written that well either. But yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
kind of made me think that like, okay, you can design games. Explaining them as a whole completely different skill set.
Oh yeah. No, that's true. And I think having a good like set of eyes that can help you with the rules clarity, I think it helps a lot, or at least editing.
Yeah. I think he was doing all himself. Which, fair enough. I do a lot of stuff myself, but yeah, get an editor or a reader, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, speaking of cards, we're going to be trying Daggerheart tomorrow. That's a very heavy.
Killing me here, Jeremy.
It's a very heavy card-based building, and it's strange because it's kind of video game when you make your characters. Each character class and subclass shares like 2 domains, and you can choose ability cards or spells. It's the same kind of thing. So either the magic or martial classes. You choose them from the domains, but they encourage you, if you have overlapping character classes, don't choose the same ability. Have a variety, and it's like that feels very video gamey, where you're just like limited by someone taking a card.
Well, I mean, it does, but I mean, is that really okay? I got feelings on Daggerheart and whatever, but is that any different from an old D&D book saying, hey, maybe don't all choose the same character class?
Right. Yeah, it felt funny because it's very limited. There's just not that many.
Right.
But they do a really nice job. Like, things are well designed because they're color coded. Like all the domains, they have very distinct coloration. So you just look at the cards and these are all going to be some sort of physical thing. These are all going to be some sort of sword attack. These will all be some kind of magic. But I'm curious how the rules are going to play. That's going to be the interesting part. We did some world building last week, and we're going to try to play in that world. I'm basically taking the quick start adventure that kind of overlapped with some of the ideas that we were coming up with. So I'm like, oh, this will work.
Okay.
I'm going to modify it to the thing.
Yep. Tell us how you really feel. Yep.
It was weird about the quick start. And when I was like trying to make the adventure, like the acts of the adventure work in the world we built, is there's so much just nonsense you got to carve out of, or you just kind of ignore from what they wrote. And I don't know if it's the specific writer of this quick start, but there's so much silly nonsense. Like, you go to the inn and you will be asked to remove your shoes, and you can hang them on this rope by the door, and they will polish them for you and leave little treats inside. I'm like, what kind of childish nonsense is this? It was really, really weird. Like, everything had and after the adventure you can have a nice warm bubble bath and have a little tea, and it's like way too cozy in the writing. And I was like, why is this is not a good quick start example. They should, take that away a little bit and have adventures that lean this way or that with the setting. But it was like way overwhelming. It's like, I can't even imagine, because it was box text, right? And I can't even imagine reading that to a group.
Well, okay. I don't remember the last time I watched an episode of Critical Role. I don't honestly think I've made it through an entire episode in one sitting, because I can't, right? However, the impression I get is that is the style they play.
Oh, really?
Like, not in terms of the style of game necessarily, but I thought there were lots of the players adding descriptions of things that happen, right? And kind of like the improv stuff, right? And going on, and rather than playing the game, right? I mean, that is the game. It's just, but I wonder if like the writer kind of imagined, like, okay, if the Critical Role cast was playing this, right? Like, what kind of things would come out from the... So
it was really cringy, and a lot of the... some of the character building, the connections and stuff reminded me a lot of Monster Heart. So there's a lot of PBTA stuff in there, because there's like all this implied like intimacy and romance between, like, not just like we fought together or, I know some dark secret from your past. It's always like, oh, you held my hand that one night. What did that mean? It's like all this like kind of teen angsty stuff. I'm like, don't do that. I mean, you can do that, but don't do that in like the first experience of, of the game or the core rules. You can have, a setting or whatever that, oh yeah, this is going to be themed this way. We're going to be adventurers in high school or whatever you want to do. But the whole tone of it was really like, oh, wow, we're really going to do that, huh?
Again, I think like, I wonder if that's the type of game that...
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, I was surprised.
Also, still not over how badly they botched Monster Hunt. Like, I'll never be over that. Like,
right.
That game.
Yeah.
You suck. Right? Sorry. Anyway.
Yeah, but I was... That was a little bit strange for me, because I remember the... just like in the opening scene of their Amazon series, there were like prostitution cunnilingus jokes. And I was like, whoa, okay, wow, that's kind of adult. So I didn't expect it to be so cutesy cozy with its tone.
I wonder how much of that is them and how much of that is Amazon. I don't know. Anyway, my thought with Daggerheart was, are they going to swap over to it for the next season?
You may not even be able to tell the difference.
Well, you may not. But what kind of message are you sending where you've released a game?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of, I'm maybe not a D&D clone, but like, you've released a game and you're not even using it. Like, if they don't, if you're not using it on their live stream, what does that say about what you think about the game you produced, right?
Yeah. But I guess the print run has sold out. Like, I guess it's out of stock. So I guess because they did a collector's edition and stuff, so they know they've got a huge fan base.
A huge fan base. I think not anything, but I'm pretty sure anything they would have made would have sold out.
Yeah, it was interesting, and the core book itself too included like anybody that's written inclusivity, accessibility, like different safety tools. All of that stuff was included. Like they just got permission to include everything that's been developed probably in like the last 10 years for kind of modern RPGs. That's like in Daggerheart now. Like that's in their core book. They credit, they credit everybody that wrote it.
Credit everybody.
Yeah, but it's like, no, okay, you're just gonna say, okay, use everything that everybody else has developed, and we're not gonna actually. This isn't gonna be a thing.
Okay, you don't need to reinvent the wheel. Right, you certainly don't need to reinvent it. But like, not going to read Dagger. Not going to. Patreon tier where Chris reads Dagger.
Oh,
right?
yes.
That's the only way I would do it, right?
Yes.
Because I don't have enough time, energy, or inclination. Pay me and I'll read that thing, right? Anyway, but like he's saying, like, okay, we've got all these tools. I'm sure not all the tools would work together, right? They probably should just picked. I have to think they would have picked like a couple and been like, okay, here's how we do it, right? But I mean, okay, anyone who complains about safety tools being included in the game can just go somewhere, right? I mean, you put them in. Why not?
Yeah. I was just surprised it was like all of the original, and I guess it's good that they're not just lifting it. They're not just saying, "Oh, these are our safety tools," and it's the Y card instead of the X card or whatever.
Maybe after that sci-fi horror game they made. Right? Anyway.
Yeah. So you're right though. If they don't like obviously switch so that their actual play sessions are an advertisement for this game, what was the point of doing that?
What was the point? I mean, they've sold out. They made their money, right? I guess. So.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see how playable this is. It'll be an interesting experiment. So this is the first time we're playing something like this, and it's the first time to include people. Abyss and Arturo from the chat are going to be included. Yeah, because we're playing on Discord. So yeah, it's going to be a few of our faithful chatters are going to be in there as well. So it's going to be a bigger group than we usually play. It's going to be a weirder system than we usually play. But we did some world building, so it's not going to be as cozy, adorable as
I get issues with that cozy. Studio Ghibli is so cozy. Have you watched a Ghibli movie ever?
Yeah, right. All right, so let's get started for this week so we don't run out of time. Welcome to the Weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Chris.
And this week on the Weekly, new Dragonbane books, Ironsworn Loadstar, more D&D video games, hooray! And Asmodee, Rebrand.
Asmodeus. Okay.
Yes. So let's start with. So this is encouraging, and they've got a lot of irons in the fire. I don't know what the expression would be. They're juggling a lot of plates spinning, I guess.
Okay. That implies if they let go, it all comes down.
Yeah, I know, and that's the scary part. Okay. But 2 new supplements are coming for Free League's Dragonbane RPG. So this is 2 years after the release of the core game. The Dragonbane, their fantasy RPG, which is basically the English kind of update modification of Dragons and Demons, the Swedish RPG from the 80s. The first book that's coming out is Arkand, City of Waves and Flames. So it's going to be a more ocean, seagoing, piratey themed setting for so not forest or kind of dungeon. Okay. It's going to be an alternative kind of setting. And
Ocean Crawl.
Yes, Ocean Crawl. And then the Book of Magic, a tome of arcane learnings. So, of course, both of them are going to be beautifully illustrated, like all of the Dragonbane stuff has done so far. So, yeah, the winding alleyways of Arkand, the city of waves and flame. It's a new location, and it'll get you, beyond the basically woodlands and rocky hills, the stuff that we've been dealing with before. Kind of that Valley of the Misty Vale, I think, is their setting for their starter set. And then their Book of Magic is going to give you more spells, a lot of darker kind of forbidden magic, so you can adopt arcane learning. So less than good magical experimentation to bring forth undead hordes and all that good stuff.
Wow, engage in less than good magical experimentation. Okay.
Yeah, so they're continuing their mirth and mayhem kind of theme of the game, which I think works really well. I think it makes, once you're like, that's how they're saying it's going to be. I think it works well with how the adventures are written and how the theming of the settings go. So their starter set is actually, so if you haven't played the game, it's definitely worth picking up the starter set. You get the full rules in that box set. You get pre-gen characters, which we've been playing throughout multiple adventures now. Cards, dice, maps, and stand-up tokens with little stands for everything. So it's a really, really complete starter experience, not a... not some kind of limited taster kind of thing that a lot of other starter sets are.
So basically, it's kind of like the whole thing.
Yes. And so these supplements are on Kickstarter right now. They're almost at 500,000. I've got about 20 days to go. And so the Arkand, City of Waves and Flame was written by Johan Schwolberg and illustrated, of course, by Johan Egerkrantz and David Brezgala. And the Book of Magic includes harmonism, demonology, necromancy, witchcraft, and illusionism.
So Frostgrave.
Right, as well as general magic, animism, elementalism, and mentalism. And this was written by the creators of Symborum. Ooh. So Johan Hock and Matthias Lilla. And, of course, Arnstrom doing some editing and contributing in the Egerkrantz illustrations as well. So, the books look great. They're going to also do that kind of lizard man skin cover with the gold foil embossing, like their special edition, limited edition versions of these books as well. So you can get everything that they've produced, including what was the softcover rules, are now available in hardcover as well. So you can get the whole series of books in this kind of... The nice illustrated covers or the faux green lizard leather. Yeah, I think that's because that's what the one history book that I have of Dragons and Demons has, that same kind of the limited edition, has the same cover. So I think that's like a classic thing from the 80s when they first did their limited editions, like the Adventure Spiel did the that green lizard skin look. So that's been a thing for a while. So it's nice that they're continuing that. I think they want to make it nostalgic, even if you weren't in that country speaking that language, playing that game, they want to have some of that nostalgia carry over into the English editions. So that's fun. And something else that's actually not crowdfunding is Ironsworn's Loadstar. So what the heck? More? What are they doing? What's going on? Well, this is everything you need to play Ironsworn in a single book. So this is a new supplement for Ironsworn that collects and condenses all the rules in an easy-to-use reference. So this is so Ironsworn, of course, is a great game to play solo. It's an interesting take on the Powered by Apocalypse framework to build fantasy sagas, adventuring into a harsh world with an unforgiving wilderness, dangerous cities, settlements, etc. So people are praising this as some of the best rules for solo play, and actually the writer of Ironsworn has been asked to do the solo rule sets for other systems. They've been hired on crowdfunding to do that. So the new Loadstar supplement is free, but it's pay what you want. So please support. For the PDF. So please support the creator. And so Loadstar is one reference, all the rules. So it's everything that you need to basically make your own world. But also, what's been missing in if you just have Ironsworn, what's been missing in the book is the dungeon crawling rules. So that came out in the Delve expansion. Yep. Yeah, it did. So these dungeon crawling rules are going to be included in this new Loadstar all-in-one. So all the Ironsworn rules in one book. Roll up a settlement, figure out your themes and emotions, generate the dungeon, and your character moves and character and move guides. All included. So the PDF is free, and you can get the print on demand from DriveThruRPG, and it's basically at cost. So you can pay pay what you want. It's like from cost plus up.
I think I saw a spiral bound version.
Yes, and that's on Lulu. Yep. Yeah. So on the if you just go to the Ironsworn website, there's a link to DriveThru, and then Lulu is the one that sells the spiral bound. Those are nice because they lay really flat, but they're bitch to store because they don't sit on a shelf very well, and they get bent and fuck up your other books and stuff. I'm not a fan.
Tell us how you really feel.
Not a fan. But yes, you can pay what you want, but definitely support the creator, because giving away this kind of stuff for free, and I think he's always had that good sense of, I want to get my game out there. Here are the rules for free. If you'd like to have a physical copy, then I'll make some money from it. But and having things as pay what you want is just a way to make sure everybody gets it. Everybody will
That's exactly what I did. Like the Ironsworn, the core rule, the PDF was free, right? And then got it, read through it. I'm just like, after I got to the final chapter, that's my one complaint. After I got to the final chapter, I'm like, oh, I get it now. This is amazing, right? And I went and bought the hardback of Delve and Ironsworn and the associated cards that you don't actually need but are kind of helpful, right? So my one kind of beef with Ironsworn is the beginning part. It's a little bit hard to figure out. Like if you're coming in kind of from nothing, it was a little bit hard to figure out how the choices affect each other. So it was only until I got to like the back of the book and it was like, oh, here's like a walkthrough of someone starting their first game and all the first things they do. It was only after reading that chapter that I went, okay, everything at the beginning now makes sense,
I
right?
see, yeah.
So I guess it's kind of like one of those chicken and the egg problems. Like, if you if you present kind of too much, like, not lore, because it wasn't presenting lore, but if you do it too much of why you need it, you're like, okay, but show me how.
Yeah.
If you're showing too much how, you're like, okay, well, why, right? So you got to strike a nice balance between those. So I see that, yeah, okay, one place to reference all the rules, like Loadstar, that would be pretty convenient, right?
Yeah, so hopefully that will help people, and containing all the rules, so you're not like referring to different books and things. So so a blurb from the website. So Loadstar is a quick reference guide for the Ironsworn tabletop role-playing game. It includes the essential rules, moves, setting information, oracle tables in a streamlined format for convenient reference during play. So this is going to be the 2025 expanded edition. Much requested key content from Delve is included, extra gameplay options, an array of new and updated oracle tables in a table-friendly 99 pages. So yeah, a nice slim volume. So yeah, you get character creation, essential rules summaries, the move references, oracle tables, new Delve references, new Delve oracle tables, vast array of updated random tables for story prompts, journeys, waypoints, bonus moves for one roll journeys, random generators for character background events, and then digital bonuses are high resolution illustrated map of the Ironlands and illustrated character sheet. Cool. So yeah, and so definitely, and especially if you're interested in trying something solo or just something to kind of brush up on your game mastering skills and kind of world building thinking and ideas, this might be something that would appeal.
You've played.
Yeah.
But you've played co-op.
Yeah, we did kind of guided. Yeah, because Will had the experience with the rules. So Will was kind of he played a character, but he was kind of guiding us with like, okay, now we should do this. Yeah.
So you've kind of done, like I said, the guided play.
Yeah. Right.
I've only done solo. And like solo, it is very much a journaling game, right? Like these are just tools to kind of, it's almost like writing tools, right? Like, okay, I'm kind of stuck. What happens? Roll, and it gives you like a mechanical output, and then it's up to you to kind of not interpret that, but it's up to you to expand that or contract that. Like you could just jot down numbers and adjust things, or you could actually like flesh it out into a story, but there's nothing in there that actually, I'm not going to say that doesn't help you write a story, but writing the story is all on you, right? Like it's as much or as little as you want to do.
Nice. Yeah, so you can pick that up for free if you just want to see what that's
free. You might as well pick it up.
Yeah, take a look. And another puzzling development. D&D is always confusing us with what the hell they're even doing. A new single-player video game is in the works for Dungeons & Dragons. Chasing that Baldur's Gate 3 high that they had. We want all the money this time. Yeah. So yeah, the good feels from Baldur's Gate 3 is what WotC is looking for. So so they did release a multiplayer flop previous to that, Dark Alliance, which didn't do well, and they said, no, look, we learned our lesson. Single player is what people want, is I guess what they learned from Baldur's Gate 3. So it's going to be a single player focus. They've done this in the past, Neverwinter Nights, Planescape Torment, but those also, I think, Neverwinter Nights and even Baldur's Gate maybe had some multiplayer component to it. So we'll see. But anyhow, they're talking about. So who is their guy? Their digital. Oh no, this is the. So who are they doing this with? They're doing this with Giant Skull. So Giant Skull is a new studio formed by Stig Asmussen from Respawn. So this is a guy that worked on the Jedi games and the God of War series. Okay. So nothing, that has any like current day relevance. I don't think people are like, oh, I got to play a God of War game again. We're going back to PlayStation 2. So that's a little bit odd that they're like thinking, oh, this guy is going to really turn it around. The same way that they're thinking the Mass Effect guy is going to make them a sci-fi setting. Yeah. Anyhow, so Asmussen said, our goal is to craft a rich and new D&D Dungeons & Dragons universe filled with immense immersive storytelling, heroic combat, and exhilarating traversal that players will fully embrace.
I hate an immersive storytelling. It's a buzzword that means absolutely nothing.
Right. So yeah, maybe we'll get some action platforming if this is single player, or maybe it's just going to be, they're just going to try to rip off Baldur's Gate. But and so this is also, so we have the I'm forgetting the name of the studio, but the the people that are working on Exodus. We got Exodus coming up, and what happened to Skeleton Key? That was also an in-house studio, like something that WotC had assembled. That was supposedly had like 3 projects in the works. They hired some new directors, and then they canceled all the games. So their video game development is very mysterious. So Giant Skull was just announced or assembled in 2024, and like I said, the Stig Asmussen is the head of that, making some new single-player experience. They're not sharing any information right now, and video games don't get developed in a week, so it's going to be years before
just use AI
before we see any of this. But another quote from the director of Giant Skull: "Our talented and experienced team at Giant Skull is built on creativity and curiosity. Our goal is to craft the same thing. Fully embrace all of that good stuff." And so John Haidt, the president of WotC's digital gaming at Hasbro, said, "Stig and the team at Giant Skull are exactly the type of exceptionally talented creators we want to work with. And I'm so happy to be reuniting with him on this new project." The gaming world is video games are so incestuous. Everybody just bounces companies forever. So they've been like working with the same people since the 90s. And I'm so happy to be reunited. Our time working together on God of War, that's where they hired. That's the God of War guy. Let's get him to make a D&D God of War. What the quick time actions is exactly what people want to. Quick time events. I got to see Stig's artistry and expertise. He and the Giant Skull team are a perfect fit for our new game.
Sure. Which is what?
Yeah, whatever. It's D&D. So world building and storytelling is in our DNA, and this collaboration reflects our evolution and commitment to our playing to win strategy. That's capitalized. Building stronger presence in digital play. Haidt went on to say, "We look forward to revealing more about this brand new Dungeons and Dragons game in the future."
Sure you do.
It's going to get canceled. I mean, I think the magic of Baldur's Gate was basically it was a studio that had done a series of successful games that they just reskinned with Baldur's Gate. They had already had a great game system and style of game that people like to play, and they just got to theme it with D&D. You can't start from scratch and have a new studio with a bunch of randos thrown in there and what they're going to make a God of War D&D.
Of course you can.
That's going to be worse than that Dark Alliance game. But anyhow, and it's single player, so how do you monetize that? How do you over-monetize that? But speaking of things that didn't need to happen or won't help anything, so Asmodee debuts its new logo, and sorry, I should have put the graphic on here so I can pop it up. But if you do a quick search, you can find it. It kind of looks like the 80s Barbie logo.
I was going to say it looked like the 80s Mattel logo.
Oh, yeah.
Which is basically the same thing,
yeah,
right?
It's very, yeah. And that's the new, I think we're in the midst of this like designer's dilemma thing where everyone was making things more candy-coated 3D, plasticky, and then now they're just flattened it into nothing. So this looks like a masking layer that you would use to just take some texture and whatever and edit it out, and that's the logo. It's just a flat black graphic.
I don't hate it.
But it's like everything's being reduced to this, like just flatten it into just nonsense. So it has this like strange thing like a mask of a masking layer. It doesn't look like an actual design. But it's the 30th anniversary of this wonderful company, the biggest player in tabletop. So basically the Yum Brands of board games, the food company that owns basically everything: KFC, Taco Bell, Pizza Hut, PepsiCo. Yeah, this is the board game version of that. So they have a new brand identity, and I love this: more vibrant and visible, consumer-focused brands. This is the least vibrant logo I've ever seen in my life.
I have to admit, I don't mind the logo, but when you pair it with like more vibrant and visible, it's black and white.
Right.
It's black and white. It's not vibrant at all.
And they're visible, consumer-focused brands, all inspired by its players. And to let you know they're inspired by its players, they write "inspired by players" underneath the logo.
That part I hate down there at the bottom because it's not even.
Yeah, it's kind of dimensionally kind of weird. It's in the wrong perspective. Yeah. But yes, so the publisher of such games as Ticket to Ride, Catan, Seven Wonders, Star Wars Unlimited, I don't know how that fits in there, Azul, and Spot It is now going to be more about the players, because before they were just about themselves. So corporate speak. They release things saying a major leap forward as a vibrant and visible consumer-based player inspired by the players in strengthening Asmodee's direct relationship with players. I guess basically they don't want to fund local game stores. They want to sell online direct to you while reinforcing its reputation for quality and innovation. At Asmodee, we have made it our mission to create meaningful shared experiences through games that celebrate all players. This is the CEO, Thomas Kogling. During our 30-year journey in the tabletop industry, our brand hasn't always been visible to players themselves. With this brand evolution, we aim to change that, making Asmodee a name that's recognized, trusted, loved, and sought out by players around the world. I don't know how this logo change does that. And they're just a conglomerate. They're just this like disgusting, like sticky mass of brands that's been, collected off the floor that, we're about to go to business.
Because Catan is a bad game. I don't know if a sticky mass collected off the floor is entirely fair.
So yeah, but Asmodee has 21 studios with a portfolio of over 400 IPs. There's no brand identity in that. There's just amassing all of the licenses we can. So their chief creative officer, Reza Basiri, said, "As a board game and role-playing enthusiast, I know the vast selection of games can feel overwhelming, even though we own 90% of them. By collaborating with Asmodee on their brand identity, we help. We help them to boldly express their passion for gaming while giving players a strong and recognizable brand they can trust." I don't. You can don't even know how to pronounce it, because I'm sure if it's French, there should be a diacritical mark over one of the E's. But it's Asmodee. I can trust that because I don't know how to say it. This identity will help customers navigate a competitive market and position Asmodee as a clear, and it's always lowercase in this press release. That was weird. Yeah, it's a clear point of reference. So yeah, they basically swallowed up all the Fantasy Flight stuff. So they some of the brands under their umbrella are the Arkham Horror, Twilight Imperium, Descent, Lord of the Rings, Star Wars Shatterpoint, Marvel Champions, Ticket to Ride, Marvel Crisis Protocol, which is Atomic Garage or what? Yeah, So there's a bunch of random people all underneath this umbrella. So emphasizing their brand, I don't think is really going to help.
Of course, it's their brand. They own it. They bought those games.
Right.
They bought those companies. They own them fair and square.
Yeah. So it's going to be weird to just to have everything say Asmodee. It's like, wait, I thought, weren't the original guys? Or is it even the original people still doing these games? Yeah, we'll see. But I was expecting a name change because we did get. I think you missed the week we talked about Embracer Group doesn't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, I just saw that. In the chat.
It's the Fellowship.
It's the Debracer Group.
The Debracer Group. Yeah, it's the
Unbracer Group.
Yeah, Fellowship Friends or something. It's something really silly, but still emphasizing the Tolkien license that they have. But yeah,
are they in the process of selling off everything that's non-Tolkien?
No, they separated into two things, like some kind of coffee stain group, which I think was all digital stuff, and then all the Tolkien and all of that is under now Fellowship, and that was what Embracer Group became.
What happened to all other stuff they bought?
It's all in there. It's all in there. But they just are emphasizing with their renaming that we own the Tolkien estate basically. So we licensed everything from the Tolkien estate. Yeah. So I was expecting when I saw this headline, I was like, oh, did they change the name? Because that name is terrible, and nobody knows how to say it.
I don't know.
But so we got a nice flat logo and make a nice car graphic. You can
apart from that inspired by players line. Mm-hmm. That logo's actually kind of growing on me. I don't know. I like it. I think it's the, it's like you said, it kind of looks like the old Barbie or Mattel logo.
Yeah,
I bet you that is what they were going for.
It could say Parcheesi, or it could say...
It's very kind of, maybe not 80s nostalgia, but that's what it kind of reminds me of. Hey, remember all those toy companies from when you were a kid? That's what we're going for, right? That kind of extruded kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So that was not a accident. That was nope, okay. Maybe that's what they mean by all the trust. Hey, you loved those games as a kid, right?
Yes, we're going to look like you trust us. Yes, this design was produced by the Publicis Group design agency Carrère Noir. Of course, because that's all they work in is black noir. But yeah, that's
Maybe that's
all
all
your
you could afford.
Sorry.
Like, okay, well, how many colors do you want this logo in? One.
Yeah, we go. Give me one. Is that it?
How much would it be for one? Right? Yeah.
You don't charge us for white, right? Just the. Yes. So that's gonna do it for this week. So where can people find you?
Instagram and Blue Sky. That's Hivemind, HYVEMYND. Where put my miniatures away just because I wanted to clean them off my desk and don't have the energy to pull them out again, and it's all just pixel stuff getting pushed around.
Pushing pixels.
Pushing pixels around on my old bootleg Photoshop.
Oh, nice.
So, how about you?
So, yeah, I do a single panel gag cartoon called Domestic Abuse that I draw on stream. I do one of those a month. So, there's one coming up for June. You can search for Abuse Cartoons on YouTube and Twitch. If you want to read the cartoon, I got 20 years of archives at gocomics.com/domestic abuse. And yeah, it's just a fun kind of casual hang. And I decided instead of doing it as a weekly thing where I just drew 2 comics a week to just make it everything for a month and just hang out a little bit longer.
Oh, crawl.
And it gives me a chance to eat more snacks from the convenience store. So, but if you like what we're doing here at the weekly, consider becoming a weekling.
The strongest of all supporters.
You can do that at patreon.com/upturntable. And upturntable.com is our website for everything. The actual plays and reviews and flip-throughs and unboxings, all that good stuff. There's audiobooks and lore videos in our on Patreon and the members, and the YouTube members area. And you can become a YouTube member by hitting the join button below this video if you're watching us. And it'll be the same content minus the RSS feed. So the audio for this whole live stream goes on the RSS feed on the Patreon, and you can listen to the whole ramble this, before and after the podcast. So that'll do it for this week. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next week.
Later, mortals.
Goodbye. So let me see if I get this all set up correctly. Sorry. Oh yeah, I gotta apologize, and especially to Matt, for all your hard work doing that third session. I didn't realize the alchemy screen for our third session of Outgunned, the Indie Heat sequel. It was cropped. It was still cropped from when we did character creation for Daggerheart. So our roles are kind of half cut off on the screen. It wasn't bad on the right side. There wasn't any information or anything people needed, but the roller was. So we basically talked through a lot of our roles. So even if you don't see the results, you know if we were successful or not. But yeah, when people in the chat were saying it's zoomed in, that's what they're talking about. I actually cropped the screen because I could see when we were sharing screens for the character creation for Daggerheart, we could see everybody's toolbar and all the tabs and stuff on their browser. So I just cropped that out to make it more same looking, and of course forgot to remove that filter because we were having such audio troubles. Getting that started, I was completely distracted. So yeah, sorry about that, everyone that was watching. And it's going to be that half of the dice roller is just lost forever. But I think we we announced all of our successes and stuff online. And I tried to because I'm streaming my version of it, I tried to turn it into Zen mode quite often. So the roller isn't even displayed. The journal that documents the rolls isn't displayed very often. So we didn't lose that much. It's still watchable because Matt did a nice job of putting together graphics and stuff. But yeah, sorry about that. I didn't realize until watching back. Oh, that's what that meant by zoomed in, as I had the window cropped. All right, but yeah, good to see everybody in the chat. Matt and Abyss Galarion. Very good. Yeah, that was really fun. That was a really fun. Really fun. All 3 sessions of that were a good time. Nice. Yes, we're gonna haggard those darts. Yeah, very funny. But yeah, that was the thing. I couldn't believe how silly the Quick Start Adventure was written. Everything was so cozy, cutesy. It was really, really weird. Like every character is like a sweet little grandma, and it's like all the NPCs were just terrible. So I definitely will be repurposing and reimagining a lot of that stuff. But I can't imagine playing that out of the box, and if it's your first RPG experience, you're going to have a really skewed idea of that. But nice. Yeah, nice to see everyone. Hey, Hodag, how's it going? Yes, our wonderful Discord. Very good. Yeah, so that was that was disappointing, but yeah, we still got some good views for that session, which is interesting because usually with actual plays, like the further it goes on, like the more people drop off. But I think people were enjoying that original adventure Matt put together. So yeah, it got a lot of views right away. Good stuff. But yeah, so Daggerheart next session. So for tomorrow, we'll see how it goes. I'm curious. I haven't had, so I've been doing more time like making the adventure. So I probably haven't like digested the rules enough. So I'll have to lean on some of the players to make sure I'm getting the rules right, because there's a little bit of crunchiness in there that I'm not going to be expecting, I'm sure. But we'll see. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Abyss is saying, yeah, it's supposed to give the safe space feel. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I can't imagine then someone thinking it would be good to prepare new players for other games. That's true, and they want you to come into this safe space and never leave. Remember how gentle and sweet and adorable the game we played was? Well, don't go anywhere else. And it's funny because I got the feeling that they were trying to kind of modern day game aesthetic outdo D&D. Like D&D was pushing that direction, and Pathfinder, like Paizo, is doing that a little bit as well. Kind of cleansing their worlds and their lore of anything they think is problematic. And so it seems like Daggerheart is trying to do that from the start, is like be totally the safest, most inclusive, sanitary thing you could possibly do. Yeah, it does sound like a cult. Join us and drink tea with your grandma. Yeah, just some of those details, they didn't make it like feel any more real or flesh out the world. They were just kind of weird and cringy. Yeah, just like, ugh. I couldn't understand some of those details, and like I said, I couldn't imagine reading it to a group. Like the box text is just so cringy and weird. But yeah, and I mean, the players will direct that. I don't think the adventure has to have that in it so much. I think if that's the sort of thing the players are seeking, they're going to ask the NPCs to make them some tea, or they're going to ask if they can take a bath or have their shoes polished or whatever. So I don't think the adventure has to have all that nonsense in it, because that'll be something that'll come out of the session, and it doesn't need to be written into the adventure. Oof, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, and like Chris was saying, it'll be interesting to see if they are obviously going to use only Daggerheart for future future extra play, for future Critical Role stuff, or they're just gonna be like, yeah, we're playing something. You don't know, and especially because it's got like such obvious like physical components, the different colored dice and the cards and stuff. If that's going to be visible in the actual play, it seems like, I don't know if they want to sell it, that's what they would do, but we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think. Yeah, advanced kittens and grandmas, just so cute and cozy. And that's a funny thing. It's like so we kind of had this thing that felt like a schism between simulationist and narrative focused. So you want a lot of crunchy rules, and you want to calculate exact type of weapon damage against certain types of armor, against certain types of creatures, or you wanted a very group made, like group written narrative. And now it's the narrative part of it is even splitting even more into the safest, softest, cuddliest world ever, versus telling a compelling story where there's loss of life and hardship and suffering. No. It's very gentle. Matt says, Matt Mercer would like to invite you to his meditation retreat in North Texas. Yes, we will infiltrate it. It's dark tunnels. Yeah, very funny. Oh yeah, Clarion. Yeah, the cards are I think they're available with the PDF, but they're the full art. Yeah, you can actually print the cards out, and if you just you do them on inkjet paper or whatever, you can put them in sleeves, and they'll be very usable. But it's the full art on the full PDF cards. I'm not sure if they have them. They might be free to download. Kind of as like the SRD, stripped out, where it's just the text of the cards. So you have those to physically use at the table. And that would probably be better, just print them out black and white, because that that's going to be expensive to print all those full color art cards. But yeah, there is no meaning in the world of Daggerheart. That should be their tagline. Daggerheart, there is no meaning. This world means nothing. It's all nonsense. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, and I think we did a fun and compelling world. So maybe if we want to continue playing it, let's just take the characters and take the world and port them into a better system. If we're not going to stick with Daggerheart, but it'd be fun to come up with like a longer, like a bigger group and do a longer campaign, and not necessarily Daggerheart, but I think we'd be able to carry those over into some other system, some maybe D20 system. We'll see. But and even I don't think, because there's a lot of silliness with the classes and stuff, so it would have to be something. We'd have to find a pretty flexible kind of D20 system, to maybe the without number system or something, to kind of cram that wide variety of wacky characters into. Or just some animal based system, some comfy Zootopia thing. But it's funny. Yes, when everything is special and everything is wonderful and caring and community is strong. Exactly. Because community is important, and community is just if you read a lot of books, or perhaps you stole a thing once, or you lived on a boat. Yes. But we'll see. Oh, and that was the other interesting thing is, and maybe that's more inspired by Powered by the Apocalypse, or the inspirations for that game, but there are a lot of things in the even in the adventure frames and the that quick starting adventure, that's like ask the players what they see on this second level of the building. It's like, wait, what? You're just gonna say, okay, so you go up the stairs and you're on the second level. What's there? Because I didn't prepare anything, so you tell me. It seems kind of weird, because you'd want some sort of structure or some sort of like things to be. I don't know. It was very odd. Ask the players what's there. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how long this lasts. But they printed the exact right number of physical copies, it sounds like, for Daggerheart, because they sold them out. But I think they're going to go into multiple printings, and it'll be interesting to see if there's if word of mouth or anything continues. I hope we don't contribute to the longevity of the game. But I want to see how much people are talking about things, because there have been successful Kickstarters or things that have gotten attention that just no one is talking about anymore. There was so much stuff in the wake of the OGL stuff that people rushed to crowdfunding, and people took a stand against WotC, and we just haven't heard anything from them. So we'll see. Yeah, right. We do second edition or something. Yes, so we can murder all of you. And down the musical Goodman Games Kickstarter game. Oh, that's right. Yeah, the Music of the Spheres. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah. That would be a. Although you have to play around. I think maybe I forget about the Roll20 is kind of flexible with like things you can drop in as tokens, which that's what I liked about Astral. So maybe the Music of the Spheres would work, because I think there's a couple of different layers in Roll20 that I could actually do the rotating map in. That would be the fun thing to do, is the fog, the kind of fog of war player view, and then but also have the rotating map. Yeah, that would be a fun thing to play. Oh, nice. Thanks, Oturo. Thanks for dropping in on by phone. Oh, Castles and Crusades. Yeah. Yeah, we should, if we're enjoying this setting, because I think you guys had some really great ideas with the world building, and we should continue the setting if we don't have a taste for Daggerheart. But I have a feeling if this system was like appropriately play tested, it'll work and it'll be fine, and we'll probably have fun doing it. So it's not going to be it's not going to be that important. But just some of the choices were very funny with how they made the game and how they're writing stuff. And I can kind of see why maybe they wanted to just do the adventure frames and not let anybody write too much for the game, because I don't think they quite knew the tone and the setting of the world, and maybe wanted to show, oh, it's flexible, it can do lots of things. Look, it can do this, lost technology, ancient civilization, and it can do happy hunting and let's eat everything we kill. I don't know. They're maybe just trying to show the flexibility of it and not like giving a specific tone. But I think that's the strength of something like Dragonbane, is that they gave it a tone, gave it a really distinct setting, and it works. It's actually once you kind of get into the spirit of it, it's very fun. You're not it's not overly grim dark. It's not overly just dungeon delvey or anything. It has a lot of fun stuff in there. So we'll see. Oh, and I did do it. I did back the Outgun superheroes. So I do have all the funny colored dice now, and the special medallion, and a box to put them in. I got it all. I wonder how much it's going to cost to get it to me, but yeah. So we'll we'll see. But yeah, the Action Flix 3 is be a good thing to have, and I think Chris might want to get a copy of the core rules and stuff. So it's like, why the heck not? But yeah, it does seem it's going to be probably of the three, of like either playing kind of a John Wick thing, the thing they released with the original Outgunned, or an adventure type thing, or superheroes. I think superheroes is going to be the last thing we're going to get to the table. But it would be fun to do like a bizarro, Infinity Gauntlet kind of thing, to write a kind of weird, try to find something in that build-up thing that Marvel did with the MCU. And it might even be fun to like have each of the characters like write their solo movie, like to write their, because they'll have the origin of their hero or whatever. So what happened in your, or I guess it's a trilogy, right? Everyone got 3 movies, but to try to like break up the adventure like they did in those like first couple of phases of Marvel, and say, okay, you've got 3 movies. What happened to you in these 3 movies? And we're going to put one adventure is going to happen here, and then before 1 and 2, and then one adventure collectively. So come up with a weird way to kind of storytell and world build in that kind of crazy way that Marvel did it. It might be fun. It might be fun to, because it's something that I don't think like the Marvel multiverse game is even trying to do. It's just trying to like give you your Marvel power fantasy. But this because Outgun has the fun rules to push around, it might be really the combat and stuff I can see as being really fun with the Outgunned rules for superheroes. But we will see. Yeah, season 3 of Outgunned. Yes, I know. I was all ready for I was like, oh, okay, there's the head of the religious cult, and there's the ninja. All right, it's showdown time. But I'd already used my spotlight. I was saving it for her. And then, all hell, she pushed that button and all hell was loosed. Yes. I'm going to have to start. Actually, yeah, Nick left all of his Infinity terrain here. It's the Acid House terrain, I think is the name of the company. The cool thing about it, though, is it's boxes within boxes. So it's like 4-sided boxes, 2 4-sided boxes you like put into each other to give them like extra support. So it stores all flat. Like he's got a 4x6 table of like multi-level terrain of kind of a sci-fi and kind of a kind of corporate urban setting thing, and it even has cardboard tiles to go underneath it, and it all like packs into a little tiny thing like this. Yeah, so I don't have to even have terrain full of shelves full of terrain because that Infinity stuff is great. And the guys just did. I think he's got a crowdfunder that just finished for a cyberpunk setting, which would also work for Infinity. And his first stuff was fantasy, which doesn't work so well with the very boxy geometric stuff, but the sci-fi stuff for by the designer is really good. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right. There's some new. I think the Cyberpunk just finished, and there's like one more new one. But the cool thing about it is it's heavy cardboard, and so when you put the boxes inside each other, it's very sturdy. So Infinity has metal miniatures, a lot of metal miniatures. So you don't want to put those just on a thin, paper craft terrain or anything, because they will. If those things fall over, you're going to have swords wrapped around their heads, or their little antennas are going to be pushed down. You don't want to drop metal miniatures. But yeah, that was cool. I'm glad Nick had that set, because we can basically play 2 full games, play a like a 3x3 and a 3x4 roughly, with the terrain that he has. So 2 simultaneous games, because it's so much terrain and it goes together really fast. Yeah, that's very cool. Oh, Space Station, nice. Yeah, the new. Yeah, I think it's Acid House. I'll put the. Yeah, if anybody has interest in terrain for miniatures, especially sci-fi miniature gaming, this stuff is really good. And I think price-wise, it's not out of control. I think it's pretty reasonable. I mean, probably better in Kickstarter, but the what is it called? I think it's just the sci-fi set. Yeah, the sci-fi is what we've been playing on, and yeah, it looks great. Very good. And so there's like the same number, and what's nice is you've the same number of different structures. So when we did the last game, we just basically mirrored each other's layout, so we had exactly the same. There was no advantage of height or anything. We just did the identical terrain, kind of like just a mirror image of it. So that works really well, and it stacks. Like you can get really tall with it too, and it's very stable. So good stuff. But and it flat packs. So I think maybe for like conventions or gaming clubs or stuff, it'd be really great, because you could just throw it in a bag. Nice. Oh yeah, right. Yeah, I wonder what their license is like. Yeah, that's right, because we've got the new Alien Earth series coming out. Maybe we'll get another revised edition of the Alien RPG to include. Yes, Arturo, yes. So 24 hours from now, we will be hearting the daggers. Yes, Daggerheart is incoming. All right, yeah, take care, Hodag. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, Miguel hates that. Don't mirror the terrain. Well, I was just, I set up, when I set up my side, I was setting it up for my snipers. So I think my opponent was like, I'll do that too, even though I don't have as many snipers. Miguel is against terrain mirroring. Oh, right, yeah. That's right. Roll for deployment. Yeah, it was the first time we'd play together, so I think we were both just being cautious. Yeah, I've got to come up with another list, though. My it's 150, I think. My 150 point list of Infinity is too mean. I've got a sniper that shoots in ARO full burst, so it's really cruel to anybody that's trying to get position. If they don't have smoke, if they can't drop smoke grenades or disco ballers, they got to run into some pretty rough snipers. So and when I go second, it's usually I usually get some kills on their turn. But yeah, I gotta come up with a a wackier list because I don't think I'm very fun to play with right now. I didn't realize because everyone's like, oh, it's just 3x3. Snipers are useless. No, actually, snipers, they're, if you get up on them, they're very ineffective. But until then, and especially if any of the objectives or whatever are about taking things back to your side of the table, you can still get a lot of shots in. Yes, good stuff. We figured that we put the Frostgrave board. I've got like a board game kind of stand thing. We put that on a turntable, so that made it nice for because always when you're like just sitting at a table and you're rolling for deployment and stuff, it's like, okay, well, I'm sitting here already. I have my snacks already out. I'll take this side, but we can rotate the board, so we literally can choose any side for deployment and just kind of rotate the board around. And so it's 3x3. Yeah, so it works well for that. I don't think anything bigger than that you could rotate, but for Frostgrave it works really well. Yeah. Yeah, I love the my Nomad snipers. And I think it was just points wise. Like I didn't. I think I just had the points to have multiple snipers, so I was like, okay, let's do that. And if you have any sort of and that was the thing too, because I was playing opponents that had like a lot of camouflage, like a lot of subterfuge and kind of camouflage and decoy tokens and stuff. Just like, I'll just solve this by having a gun pointed at everything and just try to spot stuff. But of course, then I think I lost in one game. I lost my sniper turn one from just like a rocket, just like instantly a rocket assault because I didn't deploy them. They don't deploy hidden or prone so that they can use their reactions. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So the egg rolls, you can the egg rolls and your deployment side can be rotated. But yeah, that's good stuff. Yeah, so we'll do Infinity again on the 22nd. Yeah, I wish there was a way. I've taken some photos, but I wish there was a way to do some video of that, so we could do kind of just casually document some of that. Yeah, I don't know if there would be a good way, and I don't know if everybody would agree to it. That's the thing. I'm surprised there are a lot of people, and that's why I'm really happy. Thank you, everyone, that we're doing Dagger Heart with tomorrow. Is everyone's cool with recording their voice, like streaming their voice, because that's surprisingly, and I don't know if it's just an expat condition or whatever, but there's so many people when you've got a camera around or whatever, like no video, no sound, no, don't record me. So a lot of the groups that I've played in person here and stuff, they do not want to record anything, don't want to do anything. And even if you're not going to post it anywhere, Matt and I were just talking about how nice it is as a game master to have a recording of that session, so you can listen to exactly the mood and the reaction and the kind of chatter between the players for the whole session for the next session, so you can kind of like get into the exact same headspace. It's only a week apart, our sessions, but you can get right back to where you were by listening to just the end of that previous session. That's really a really useful tool, so that you don't change tone or like jump, have any weird jumps or anything between sessions. Arturo has no shame. Yeah, I was just really really happy because a lot of people are and I guess like maybe younger people in social media and stuff, they're worried about their brand or their identity or whatever. So yeah, it's very weird. Yeah, but I like, and also some people can't relax. I think that's the biggest part of it. It's like they play games, especially games in person, so they can just, drink and hang out and be stupid, and they don't want to say anything, anything that's going to get them in trouble online or get the channel taken down. But that's the thing too, that we've had a good a good with the blackmail material. Miguel says, yeah, that's the thing that we transitioned into really well. Just playing just starting out with Blade Runner. That's amazing. That was the first thing we played, and just right away, the sessions were listenable, and there was nothing weird and I like the thing that I like about recording is you kind of get down to business and you play the game. In-person sessions, I've noticed, especially if it's a bigger group and it's one of those games where combat is really slow, people start side conversations and all kinds of bullshit and get their little pop culture references distracting everything all the time, to a annoying extent, not just to have fun around the table, but to really get distracting, and that doesn't happen when we're recording. Yeah, who would ever do that? A live broadcast of Daggerheart? Yes. Well, we're gonna, and then after we have a few sessions of Daggerheart, then I think Madison Square Garden is probably going to be our next live performance of Daggerheart. Yeah. Arturo said, if I was worried about my brand, I would talk less shit on the internet. Very good. Yes. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah. What a game. Yeah, I really I wonder if we're going to have like all this thing, Tales of the Valiant, and what was the other, the DC 20, was it the Dungeon Coach 20, the kind of his version of 5e, all these things that came out really quickly. Oh, sorry. What is that? Sorry, I got some. Sorry, I have no idea what that is. Okay, well, that's a sound, isn't it? Yeah, that's the frustrating thing is most outlets and things in Japan are not grounded. So I'm getting this. Yeah, I don't know where that's coming from. Some kind of loud feedback. Okay, well, maybe that's our our clue. The world is not ready for a cow version. Yes, the Jason Momoa. Yeah, we will see. We are being hacked. I don't know what that is. Sorry, I'll figure that out. But yeah, some kind of weird. I'm getting some weird feedback on something. Yeah, it's neither. Yeah, it does sound. And now it's just fading. Okay. Yeah, that's really weird. Okay. Well, sorry. Yeah, that wasn't anybody's phone or whatever. That was very strange. But that's frustrating is you get a little bit more of that. Like, you can't touch the barrel of these mics because they're not grounded well. Like, there's a ground plug in the thing, but my board isn't grounded, to anything because there's no 3-prong. There's no, I'd have to run like a literal ground wire. It sounds like a personal problem. That was weird. It just kind of came and went. I don't know what that was feeding off of or not. I hope my mixer isn't dying. But yeah, we will. We will see. Yeah, sometimes you get that weird. If it's like a smartphone is too close to a cable or whatever. But there was nothing that changed. That was very strange. So apologies for the horrible sound quality. I don't know if I'll be able to. I'll cut as much of that out for the audio version. There's nothing to listen to there. But yeah, so tune in tomorrow for Daggerheart, and we'll see how it goes. It's not going to be. There's not a lot of assets for it, so yeah, it's still there. So we'll just I'll pull what I can from the different sources. So we'll have some visuals and some battle maps, but it's not going to be anything very overly produced because it just isn't much. Yeah, it's still there. I'll figure this out what's going on. I might have a cable that's gotten pulled, yeah, in a strange way, or just shorting out on me, like Will's damn headphones. Those things are crackling like crazy. We may have to send some Patreon money to Will to get him some new headphones. All right, but yeah, thanks everyone for watching. We'll be back again soon with Daggerheart, and then after that, I don't know. I guess we'll talk about, like, after the session, we'll talk about if we're going to keep doing it, and what we thought of the system. And that might be a good, if this is just going to be a one shot, that might be a good thing to have a kind of post-mortem or an after session kind of discussion of, well, that was odd, and we'll see. But yeah, we'll see. I think you guys are doing some interesting stuff with your characters, and there's no humans among them, so I don't think there's going to be a lot of human interaction. Well, cool. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you again soon. Goodbye.